The thing with Scotland, though, you had these lovely, drug delivery to your street with a musical accompaniment, deep fried goods, excellent
we
fish
invented
stuffers.
Uber Eats,
Exactly.
except it was Uber smack.
Yeah, secular violence. You had it all going on. You were doing well. Apart from the independence thing, you were doing fantastic. Because you were having religious wars that didn't involve bombing. And that's always good because you only get hurt if you want to take part. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But, of course, your new king and Minister for Justice and Thought Crime. I did want to talk to you about Humza Yousaf. How are you feeling about all this?
He's a fascist. Like, putting it down there. I mean, he's a member of a highly nationalistic party centred around a political, ethnic, or national identity, and he wants the government to have a lot of power over what people can and cannot say, and that's kind of fascist. I don't know. I just love getting to use their own language against them. I'm never going to turn down the opportunity to do that. But this man is a wannabe tyrant. That's all he is. He's trying to pass the Scottish hate crime bill, and he's being so schemy and seedy with the way he does it. Like, he's had to defend it in Parliament twice, and on both occasions he failed catastrophically. Like, I mean, see, when you're talking about taking away the human rights of 6 million people currently living in Scotland, you don't turn around and go, but I get mean tweets. I get mean tweets, so fuck your rights. It's like, that's not a good enough reason. And this is the thing, is like, I'm not trying to blow my own horn or anything here, but I'm literally Scotland's biggest free speech advocate, right? And he has ignored me at every turn. He will not engage with me. He will not discuss it with me. And there's lots of other free speech associations that don't have reputations for being, edgy meme boys or anything like that, and he won't even speak to them. And that's the thing, is the only reason he's trying to defend it in Parliament is because he has to, right? But whenever it comes to actual proper debates with any free speech groups or advocacy outlets or anything, he refuses to speak to them, and I think it's because he knows he can't defend this bill.
Oh, it's that, but also we do live in a time where if you believe in free speech, you are a Nazi. Now,
Yes.
I'm not a scholar on World War II, but I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that I don't believe the Nazis were all that big on free speech. I could be wrong.
Not.
That's the impression I get.
This is one of the funny things as well, is they did not like mockery because they knew the power behind it. They knew that if people could make fun of you and take the piss out of you, then people wouldn't take you as seriously. They wouldn't be afraid of you. It delegitimized your power, the way that you were perceived by the populace. And one of the most famous stories that everybody knows about that's kind of related to mine was the Finnish man who, back when Hitler was in power, he taught his dog to Nazi salute, and basically the German government tried to come after him, and they tried to, the Nazis tried to cancel him. Is what I'm saying. They tried to get him fired. They did all sorts of schemy stuff to ruin this man's life. And that's a well-known... Ultimately, nothing happened to the guy apart from a bunch of harassment, and everybody knows that story. But there was another story that I found out about, and it blew my mind when I heard it. And this was... I forget the name of the guy and I forget the name of the book, but it's just an excerpt from it that I've read. And this was from documents. See how the SS had stations situated all over Europe, and any... actions or anything they did in the area were all logged and all catalogued. Well, in documents that was retrieved from one of these stations, it turned out that there was a travelling circus that was in town, and it turns out that the monkeys that they had for one of their acts, they had actually taught the monkeys to Nazi salute. The SS found out about this. They were not happy about it, and so they ordered the monkeys to be destroyed. The Nazis literally killed circus monkeys because they had been taught to Nazi salute, and they seen that as mockery.
There's something I've got to check on here, though. The Finnish man that taught his dog to Nazi salute, nothing came of it.
Nothing happened, no.
You did it and you got found guilty in a court of law.
After a 2-year trial and having my name dragged through the papers and everything.
Well, yeah, that's the next thing I did want to get to. But so basically, the government up there treated you worse than the Nazis treated a Finnish man.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
My trial also lasted twice as long as Nuremberg.
That's not one for the win column, is it? No matter what you do.
No, that's why I'm at the point where it's just like the SNP are the ones that are championing all of this and they're putting it through. Not so much Labour. They agree with me on Jews. I'm kidding. I'm joking, but
Can I just say, young Alex, clip that out. That's a clip on its own. We've got it.
That's what I don't get about this. You still think that they look good. Like this is the thing is like I've even the vast majority of people in the street that I meet, I would say the overwhelming majority of the population, like the most common opinion I get is people saying, I didn't like the joke, thought it was a crass joke, thought it was a very, very rude and offensive joke, but he should not have been arrested for telling that joke. And that is an absolutely fair opinion. I have no issue with that opinion. I'm not asking people to like the joke or find it funny. I just want them to know and acknowledge that it is a joke. That's all it is.
When it happened,
but like
obviously I'm not going to rehash the whole thing, but just to give you something right along what you said, we spoke about it, and I think we were doing the Live Leak show back then. My take was, like, the guy's just done a bit of shit posting. He's made a joke.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now, in the building we're in, there's quite a lot of Jewish folks that work here. And on polling them, I could not find anyone that gave a fuck. Not that it was a bit offensive, just like, oh, right, and? Why did he teach his dog to do that? Oh, because it was his girlfriend's favourite dog and he thought it'd be funny. He was just like, oh, fucking, oh, that's it. Yeah, that's where it ends for most people. So the one thing
that was funny about it as well, this is the thing is, nobody actually made a complaint to the police. It seems that the press reporters kept reaching out to the police and basically trying to get comments from them. And I think it was the press instigating it that got me arrested because the press knew there would be a story about it. And the reason I believe the press were colluding with the police is in the days leading up to my arrest, like when all the stuff kicked off, I had a bunch of reporters in the street, but then things calmed down and there was nobody in the street for a good few days, nobody at all. But then when the police arrived to arrest me, there was reporters there waiting for them, which basically means that the police, either the reporters are psychic or the police tipped them off to where and when I was going to be arrested. And when the police do that, they're supposed to have a written record. They're supposed to be, I forget the name of the document, but any police liaisons or interactions with the press, they're supposed to be noted and they're supposed to be recorded. So no document exists of that. So the two explanations for that are either these reporters were psychic or the police broke the law.
You see, well, the thing is, the press are, well, I don't have to tell you, but they are fucking arseholes. I won't go into the whole story. They desperately tried to get me fucking killed at one point back in history, but they couldn't find where I lived. But they tried, they got in the rough area and started printing that. They were going out the way for something to happen. They love a bit of that. Anyone that's awkward or that they don't like, well, I mean, yours brilliant, arrested, whatever, convicted, fucking unreal, or dead. Dead is even better. And I often wonder, like when you said like every time you've gone to get a job or something, it's just the offence culture pile in, the fucking grief junkies to fuck everything up for you in your life. I wonder how much of that is random fucking balloons off the internet and how much of it's press generated. Genuinely.
That's the thing is, after my experience, I view and literally everything I consume in the media, like from mainstream media, no matter what outlet it's from, like I take all of it with a grain of salt. Like whenever I'm not at the point anymore, whenever I read anything in the media, I'm like, yes, that's the absolute truth. Those are the facts. That's what's happening. Right. I take it as that's probably the gist of what is happening, but then the rest of it is just all lies. Like that's the way I see it now. I don't see any kind of media as a bastion of truth. You know, everybody's got their bias, everybody's got their they've all got their agenda and message that they want to push. So that's how I don't trust anything that I see in the media anymore. If I see any story, like especially after what happened to me, if I see any story, I take everything the media say with a pinch of salt now.
Oh, you have to. Look at the stories they generate. They generate shit. They sit basically nowadays. Being a journalist involves waking up, scratching your balls, or lady balls. Got to be inclusive, right? Waking up, doing that, checking Twitter, looking for any post that has two sweaty inbreds complaining on it and going, today that is going to be the story. It was like the one where someone complained because on a shopping trolley, the picture on the handle was of a woman with her children. It was like two fucking lunatics on Twitter, one of whom probably had a beard, complaining about it. The press got hold of it and turned it into a story. And I was watching that happen. And I thought, I wonder how often this happens. Then you find 3 or 4 more. And then, but none of the journalists that I know ever seem to think it happens, which is very unusual. You thought, being a journalist, they'd have been aware of what's going on. I'm sure they've got reasons not to. With the case, by the way, it's not quite finished yet, is it?
Well, there's a chance that it might be because of a technicality with the European Court. Basically, whenever I submitted my application, you've only got a time limit to do it, and it's supposed to be within a certain number of months after your final rejection in a appeal court in your own country. Now, even though I was rejected from the Supreme Court, it wasn't an official rejection, which means it's the previous one that counted, not that one, which means I would be out with the time limit. But I'm waiting to hear back more on that. So we're kind of like we filled out the application completely correctly, but it seems that there was a little legal loophole bit that we were not aware of that kind of got us screwed on that. I don't know. That's the gist that I know, but we don't know the full information on that yet, so I'm waiting until I hear more back before I make any kind of announcement. But yeah, that was get found guilty in court, took it to the Sheriff Appeals Court, which went so well that the judge that we appealed to threatened to have my lawyer arrested for doing his job. Yeah, we went to the High Court. They told us to bugger off. We went to the Supreme Court. They told us to bugger off. We did nobly officium that when I went in front of the 3 highest judges in the land, they told us to bugger off. So we tried to go to the European Court, and they've also told us to bugger off. But at least the Supreme Court, the European Court, did it on a technicality and not because there's people above them. Yeah, people above them pulling the strings because they really want this precedent to stay in law.
It's fucking madness. If you could, because I noticed someone asked this in chat as well, and it's Danny. Everyone gets asked these sort of stupid fucking questions, but if you could go back, would you do it again or would you double down?
I would double down.
That's it. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, that's what I wanted to
Because this see after it happened, see if you watch me doing interviews and all that, you can tell this is in probably about a month or 2 after the arrest. I'm really timid. Like my balls have been completely cut off. I'm being dead carefully what I say and who I speak to and all this stuff. But then it got to a point where I'm like, oh, maybe if I just bend the knee, everything will calm down and all this type of stuff. But it didn't. And then I ended up getting to the point where I'm just like, fuck you. I'm not. And that's how I'm at, see, when you've already been cancelled 17 times, you're not really afraid of it anymore. And when you just kind of say what you want, and if you get reporters screaming at you, I'm like, what are you going to do? Or you're going to write another article calling me racist? Put it in the pile.
What was the latest one? A yob. You're a yob, weren't you?
They just outright called me racist. They just said you're racist and everything, and that was the Daily Record as well. They just called me racist, straight up.
A racist yob. No fucking about now. No, just well, 'cause